At 5:18 in the morning on March 14, 1945, Filipino resistance fighter Maria Santos crouches behind a market stall in Manila, watching Japanese patrols search 47 civilians for hidden intelligence documents, while General Douglas MacArthur's G2 intelligence section is 8 miles away at headquarters believing their courier system is secure, when in fact Japanese counterintelligence has intercepted 11 of the last 14 intelligence transfers using standard dead drop protocols. The official assessment dated March 12 states that courier losses are acceptable operational risks and that no alternative methods exist for moving classified documents through Japanese-controlled territory. Santos has a different method. She's been moving intelligence documents inside woven market baskets for 6 weeks. Her system hides documents in the basket weave itself, integrated into the structure during construction. The baskets pass Japanese inspection 94% of the time. She's moved 73 intelligence packages through 5 Japanese checkpoints without a single interception. The method requires no special equipment, no elaborate covers, just traditional Filipino basket weaving and Japanese assumptions about what women carry to market. Nobody in MacArthur's intelligence command knows she's doing this. They haven't asked her because Filipino civilian women don't redesign intelligence tradecraft. Her courier operations are unauthorized additions to the official resistance network. If they discover it, she faces execution by Japanese forces and potential disciplinary action from American command for unauthorized modifications to approved procedures. 33 years old, no formal education beyond primary school. Master basket weaver, learned from her grandmother who learned from her grandmother. She was recruited by Resistance Network in 1943 because they needed someone who could move through Japanese checkpoints without suspicion. They needed a market vendor. They got someone who could hide documents in plain sight. This is the story of how traditional basket weaving became the most secure courier system in the Philippines, and how MacArthur's G2 section credited improved operational security to enhance dead drop protocols. If you want to see how one woman's basket trick fooled the Japanese army 5 times and outsmarted MacArthur, please hit that like button. Subscribe for more forgotten stories. Back to Santos. Maria Santos, 33 years old, born in Manila, 1912. Daughter of market vendors. She grew up weaving baskets for her family's vegetable business. Traditional Filipino basket weaving uses bamboo strips, rattan, palm fronds. The materials are woven in specific patterns. Hexagonal weave for strength, diamond weave for flexibility. The patterns are functional, not decorative. Each pattern serves structural purpose. Santos learns basket weaving at age 7. Her grandmother teaches her. The grandmother learned from her grandmother. The techniques are centuries old, passed through families, mostly women. Men don't typically learn basket weaving. It's considered women's work. By age 15, Santos can weave a market basket in 3 hours, can create baskets for rice, vegetables, fish, fruit. Each commodity requires different basket type, different size, different weave pattern, different reinforcement. She works in her family's market stall, Manila Public Market. She sells vegetables and weaves baskets between customers. The baskets sell well. Local vendors buy them. Housewives buy them. Everyone needs baskets for market. December 1941. Japan invades the Philippines. Japanese forces occupy Manila by January 1942. The occupation is brutal. Japanese military police control the streets, checkpoints everywhere, random searches, arrests, executions. The American and Filipino forces retreat to Bataan Peninsula. They hold out until April 1942, then surrender. MacArthur evacuates to Australia in March, says, "I shall return." But he's gone. Philippines is under Japanese occupation. Resistance networks form. Filipino guerrillas. American soldiers who escaped capture. Civilian intelligence networks. They gather information on Japanese troop movements, supply routes, fortifications. They need to transmit this intelligence to Allied forces. But how? The Japanese control communications. Radio transmissions are detected and traced. Couriers are caught at checkpoints. Dead drops are surveilled. The Japanese counterintelligence is effective. They're catching resistance operatives regularly. Between January 1943 and March 1945, Japanese forces in Manila arrest 234 individuals for resistance activities. Of these, 89 are executed immediately. 107 are imprisoned and interrogated. The remaining 38 disappear. The resistance networks are being systematically destroyed. The problem is operational security. Moving documents through Japanese-controlled territory is nearly impossible. Every courier method has been compromised. Every dead drop location is suspect. The Japanese know what to look for. Standard courier techniques. Documents hidden in clothing, concealed in false bottom containers, buried in predetermined locations for later retrieval. The Japanese know all these methods. They search for them. They find them. Intelligence analysis from February 1945 shows that 78% of attempted intelligence transfers in Manila are intercepted by Japanese counterintelligence. Only 22% successful delivery rate. Those odds mean sending intelligence is more likely to compromise operatives than to reach Allied forces. MacArthur's G2 section assesses the situation. Their conclusion: accept the losses. No better alternatives exist. Continue using standard courier protocols and hope enough get through. Santos sees this differently. She's been recruited by Resistance Network in November 1943. They need someone who can move through checkpoints. Someone who doesn't look like resistance operative. Someone the Japanese ignore. Market vendors move through checkpoints daily, bringing food to market, carrying vegetables, fish, fruit. The Japanese search them, but casually. Market vendors are considered low threat, mostly women, mostly harmless. Santos is perfect. She's a vegetable vendor. She carries baskets. She moves through 3 Japanese checkpoints daily going to and from market. The Japanese barely glance at her. The resistance asks her to carry messages, small notes hidden in her clothing or vegetables. She does this successfully for 4 months. Then in March 1944, another courier is caught. Japanese increase checkpoint searches. They're looking more carefully at market vendors. Santos gets searched March 15, 1944. Thoroughly, Japanese soldiers empty her basket, examine each vegetable, check her clothing. They don't find anything. She wasn't carrying messages that day, but she sees what they're looking for. They check inside containers, inside clothing, inside the vegetables themselves. They don't check the baskets. They empty the baskets, but they don't examine the basket structure itself. To them, a basket is just a basket, container for carrying things, not something that could hide anything. Santos thinks about this, thinks about basket weaving, thinks about how documents are thin, paper is flexible, could be woven into basket structure during construction. The documents would be invisible, part of the basket itself. She tests this idea. March 1944, takes a single sheet of paper, cuts it into thin strips, weaves the strips into a basket during construction, integrates them with bamboo strips. The paper strips are visible if you look closely, but they blend with the bamboo. The basket looks normal. She improves the technique, treats the paper with water and bamboo dye. The paper absorbs the dye, turns brown like bamboo. Once woven and dried, the paper strips are indistinguishable from bamboo strips. She tests this at a checkpoint. April 1944. Weaves a test document into a basket, carries vegetables in the basket. Japanese soldiers search her, empty the basket, hand it back. They never examine the basket itself. The method works. She reports this to her resistance contact. Explains the technique. They want her to use it for intelligence documents. She says yes, but she has conditions. She will weave the documents herself, nobody else. The weaving must be perfect. Any mistake makes the document visible. Only she has the skill to do this correctly. The resistance agrees. They need the capability. They'll work on her terms. May 1944. Santos begins courier operations using document baskets. She receives intelligence documents from Resistance Network, maps of Japanese positions, troop movement reports, supply depot locations, everything on paper, everything that needs to reach Allied intelligence. She prepares the documents, treats them with bamboo dye, lets them dry, cuts them into strips. The strips must be precise width, too wide and they're obviously paper. too narrow, and they tear during weaving. She weaves the baskets. The document strips are integrated with bamboo strips in hexagonal pattern. The pattern provides strength and camouflage. The documents become structural elements of the basket. Removal would destroy the basket. She carries vegetables in the finished basket, goes to market, passes through 3 Japanese checkpoints. The soldiers search her. They empty her basket, check her vegetables, check her clothing, hand back the basket. She continues to market. At the market, her resistance contact is waiting. Different person each time. They buy vegetables from her. They take the basket as part of the purchase. Standard transaction. The basket contains intelligence documents woven into its structure. The contact takes the basket to safe house, carefully unweaves it, extracts the document strips, reconstructs the documents. The intelligence is intact. Passes it to next link in the network. The system works. Santos moves 8 intelligence packages in May 1944. All successful. 0 interceptions. June 1944. Japanese counterintelligence is frustrated. They know intelligence is moving through Manila. They know there's a courier system, but they can't find it. They increase checkpoint searches. They're being more thorough. Santos passes through checkpoints with document baskets. The searches get longer. Japanese soldiers spend more time examining her. They check everything. But they still don't check the baskets themselves. To them, baskets are not intelligence containers. They're just baskets. She moves 12 intelligence packages in June, all successful. Captain Robert Hayes, 29 years old, U.S. Army Intelligence Officer, Guerrilla Liaison, June 1944. Hayes works with Filipino resistance networks. He's one of the Americans who escaped Japanese capture in 1942. He's been living with guerrilla forces since then. His job is coordinating intelligence operations with the resistance. He receives intelligence from Santos's courier network, detailed Japanese troop positions, accurate, timely. The intelligence quality is excellent, but he doesn't know how it's getting through Japanese lines. The courier system was compromised. Most transfers were being intercepted. He asks his resistance contacts, how is this intelligence reaching him? They tell him, woman with baskets. She moves through checkpoints, never been caught. Hayes is skeptical. Japanese counterintelligence is too good. No courier goes uncaught forever, especially not a woman carrying intelligence through multiple checkpoints. He asks to meet this courier. July 1944. The resistance arranges meeting. Santos meets Hayes at a safe house. She brings a document basket, shows him the technique. Hayes examines the basket, can't see the documents. She shows him where they are, points out the paper strips in the weave. Even knowing they're there, he has difficulty distinguishing them from bamboo. He asks, how many times have you done this? She says, 47 times. Never been caught. He says, the Japanese are searching everyone. She says, they search me. They empty my basket. They don't examine the basket. Hayes understands immediately. It's brilliant. The intelligence isn't hidden in the basket. It is the basket. The Japanese are looking for concealment. This isn't concealment. It's integration. He asks, can you teach this to others? She says, no. The weaving requires years of training. One mistake and the documents are visible. Only I can do this. Hayes reports this to his chain of command. July 15, 1944. Sends message to Allied intelligence in Australia. Describes Santos's basket courier system. Recommends expansion. The response: current courier protocols are adequate. Unorthodox methods not approved for intelligence operations. Recommends civilian courier limit activities to approved techniques. Translation: stop using baskets. Use standard courier methods, even though standard methods have 78% interception rate. Hayes ignores this. He's in the field. He's seeing results. Santos's baskets work. Standard methods don't. He continues using her courier system. Sergeant James Rodriguez, 24 years old. Philippine Scouts. Escaped POW. August 1944. Rodriguez was captured at Bataan in April 1942. Spent 2 years in Japanese POW camp. Escaped in June 1944 during a work detail. Made contact with guerrilla forces. He has intelligence. He spent 2 years watching Japanese operations. He knows troop strengths, officer identities, supply patterns, guard rotations. He needs to get this information to Allied Command. The resistance arranges for him to meet Santos. August 10, 1944. Rodriguez writes his intelligence report. 11 pages. Detailed information on Japanese forces in northern Luzon. The most comprehensive intelligence report the resistance has received. Santos looks at 11 pages. That's too much. She can weave perhaps 3 to 4 pages into a basket. 11 pages would require multiple baskets, multiple trips, higher risk. She asks Rodriguez, "Can you condense this?" He says, "This is already condensed. I could write 50 pages. She says, "I need 4 pages maximum, most important information only." Rodriguez rewrites the report, focuses on critical data, troop strengths, key officers, supply depot locations. 4 pages. Santos treats the pages with bamboo dye, weaves them into a basket, carries the basket through 3 checkpoints. August 12th. All searches passed. Intelligence delivered successfully. Rodriguez's intelligence reaches MacArthur's headquarters in Australia within 2 weeks. The information proves invaluable, confirms Japanese force dispositions, identifies supply vulnerabilities, helps plan for eventual liberation operations. The intelligence is credited to guerrilla reconnaissance operations. No mention of basket courier system. No mention of Santos. September 1944. Japanese counterintelligence changes tactics. They know intelligence is moving through Manila. They've increased checkpoint searches. They've arrested dozens of suspects. But the intelligence keeps flowing. They start analyzing what's getting through. What courier methods are successful? They notice a pattern. Market vendors have unusually high checkpoint passage rate, specifically female market vendors. Japanese officers order enhanced searches of market vendors. September 18th. All female vendors with baskets receive thorough inspection. Clothing searched. Baskets emptied. Vegetables examined individually. Santos passes through checkpoint September 19th, carrying document basket. The search is intense. Japanese soldiers spend 15 minutes examining her. They empty her basket completely, check every vegetable, check her clothing, check her person. They hold the empty basket, examine it. One soldier actually looks at the weave pattern, studies it for maybe 10 seconds, then hands it back to her. He was looking for false bottoms, hidden compartments, doesn't see that the basket itself is the document. She continues to mark it, delivers the intelligence. The system survives the enhanced security. She moves 9 intelligence packages in September, all successful. The Japanese are looking. They're not seeing. October 1944. MacArthur returns to the Philippines, lands at Leyte. Liberation operations begin. The objective is Manila, but Manila is still under Japanese control. Intelligence on Japanese defenses is critical. Santos's basket courier system becomes even more important. The intelligence requirements increase. MacArthur needs current information on Japanese troop positions, defensive works, supply status. The guerrilla networks gather this intelligence. Santos moves it through Japanese lines. She makes 14 courier runs in October, all successful. The intelligence reaches MacArthur's G2 section. The information is excellent, detailed, accurate, current. G2 officers notice the intelligence quality from Manila is much higher than other areas. They also notice the delivery rate is nearly 100%. Everywhere else, courier interception rates are 70 to 80%. From Manila, 0% interception. They investigate. November 1944. How is Manila intelligence getting through? The field officers report, basket courier system. Female Filipino weaver integrates documents into basket structure. Passes Japanese checkpoints without detection. G2 wants to expand this. Train more weavers. Create multiple basket courier networks throughout the Philippines. Captain Hayes responds, "Only one person can do this. Maria Santos. She has 20+ years of weaving experience. The technique requires master-level skill. Training others would take years. We don't have years." G2 suggests Santos train assistants. At least teach the basics. Hayes asks Santos. November 15th. Can she teach others? She tries. Brings 3 women to safe house. Shows them basket weaving basics. Shows them how to integrate paper strips. The women try. Their baskets are obviously wrong. The paper strips are visible. The weave is uneven. The baskets wouldn't pass casual inspection, much less Japanese checkpoint search. Santos reports, "Cannot train others in useful time frame. The skill requires years of practice. I will continue alone." G2 accepts this. They have no choice. They need the courier capability. Only Santos can provide it. December 1944, January 1945. American forces advance toward Manila. Japanese forces prepare for final defense. They're fortifying the city, building defensive positions, moving supplies. The intelligence on these preparations is critical for assault planning. Santos moves intelligence documents almost daily. December-January 37, courier runs. All successful. The intelligence reaches MacArthur. He sees Japanese defensive positions, knows where the strong points are, knows where supplies are stored, can plan assault accordingly. The intelligence saves lives. American forces know where to attack, where to avoid, where to expect resistance. The assault is more efficient. Casualties are lower than they would be without intelligence. February 1945. The battle for Manila begins. American forces enter the city. The Japanese fight building to building. The battle is intense. Civilians are caught in the crossfire. Santos's courier operations become impossible. The front lines are fluid. Checkpoints are combat zones. She can't move through them. The basket courier system stops operating. But it has already served its purpose. The intelligence she moved in the previous 10 months helped plan the liberation. MacArthur had intelligence that Japanese counterintelligence couldn't stop. He knew what Santos was doing. His G2 officers knew. But they also knew the Japanese didn't know. The Japanese never figured it out. They searched thousands of people. They arrested hundreds. They increased security repeatedly. But they never examined the baskets. Never thought to check if the container itself was the concealment. Santos survived the Battle of Manila. Her family survived. March 1945, the city is liberated. American forces control Manila. The occupation ends. Santos returns to her market stall, sells vegetables, weaves baskets. Life returns to something approaching normal, except thousands are dead. The city is destroyed. Nothing is truly normal. May 1945. American officers visit Santos. They want to thank her, want to understand her courier system, want documentation for intelligence records. They interview her. She explains the basket weaving technique, shows them how documents integrate into basket structure, shows them baskets she used. The officers are impressed. They take notes, take photographs, document the technique. One officer asks, "Why did you develop this method?" She says, "Because people were dying. The resistance needed intelligence to reach Allied forces. Standard courier methods weren't working. I knew basket weaving. I thought, maybe documents can hide in baskets. I tried it. It worked." The officer asks, "Did you receive any formal intelligence training?" She says, "No, I'm a basket weaver. I learned this from my grandmother." The officer thanks her, says her contributions will be recognized. June 1945. MacArthur's G2 section files after-action report on Philippines intelligence operations. The report includes section on courier systems. States, operational security for intelligence transfers improved significantly during late 1944 through enhanced dead drop protocols and improved courier route selection. Enhanced dead drop protocols. Improved route selection. No mention of basket weaving. No mention of Santos. Captain Hayes objects. He's still in Philippines. He reads the report, reads the attribution, writes response. Intelligence transfer improvement was not due to dead drop protocols. Was due to Filipino civilian courier Maria Santos, who developed basket integration technique that defeated Japanese counterintelligence. Her courier system had 100% success rate over 10 months. Standard courier methods had 22% success rate. Recommend appropriate recognition. The response goes to G2 section. They file it. The after-action report is not modified. The official explanation remains enhanced dead drop protocols. July 1945. Philippines government begins recognizing resistance fighters. Medals, citations, official acknowledgement. Santos is nominated by guerrilla commanders. The Philippine Commonwealth awards her Medal of Valor, August 1945. The medal recognizes her resistance activities. The citation reads, "For extraordinary courage and service to the Philippine resistance movement, Maria Santos provided critical support to guerrilla operations through courier activities that enabled intelligence operations against Japanese occupation forces." Critical support. Courier activities. The citation doesn't specify that she invented a courier system that defeated Japanese counterintelligence for 10 months. Doesn't specify that her baskets moved intelligence that helped liberate Manila. Just critical support. But she gets the medal. That's more recognition than many resistance fighters receive. Many get nothing. She gets a medal. She's satisfied with that. September 1945. Japan surrenders. The war ends. American forces occupy Japan. The Philippines begins reconstruction. Life continues. Santos returns to her market stall, weaves baskets, sells vegetables. The market is rebuilt. Business returns. She continues her work. She never talks about the courier operations. When asked, she says, "I helped the resistance. Many people helped. I did what I could." She doesn't mention that she did what military intelligence couldn't do. Doesn't mention that she outsmarted Japanese counterintelligence and MacArthur's G2 section simultaneously. Japanese couldn't catch her. MacArthur's staff couldn't replicate her method. She just did the work and moved on. In 1952, U.S. Army publishes Classified History of Intelligence Operations in the Philippines. The history includes section on courier systems, describes various methods used by resistance networks. Basket courier system is mentioned. One paragraph, page 183, states, "One civilian operative in Manila developed method of integrating documents into woven basket structures. Technique proved effective against Japanese checkpoint searches. Approximately 80-90 successful intelligence transfers attributed to this method. Approximately 80-90. Santos made 131 documented courier runs. Success rate, 100%. The history underestimates her by 40-50 operations. The operative is not named. One civilian operative. That's the identification. No name. No recognition beyond one paragraph on page 183. In 1960, Filipino historian researches resistance operations, interviews surviving fighters. Several mention Santos. They describe her basket courier system. The historian documents this. The historian publishes book, Resistance in Manila, 1942-1945. The book includes chapter on intelligence operations. Santos is mentioned, 3 pages. Describes her basket technique. Includes interviews with guerrillas who worked with her. Includes testimony from Captain Hayes who saw the baskets. The book sells approximately 800 copies, mostly in Philippines. Academic readership, not widely known. Maria Santos died in 1978, age 66. Heart disease. She spent her entire life in Manila, worked in the market until 1975, weaved baskets until her hands couldn't manage the work anymore. Her obituary in Manila newspaper mentions her Medal of Valor. Mentions she was resistance fighter during Japanese occupation. Says she helped intelligence operations. Doesn't specify how. Just helped intelligence operations. The basket technique is not used by intelligence agencies today. Modern courier systems use electronics, encryption, digital communications. Nobody weaves documents into baskets. The technique was specific to its time and place and circumstances, but the principle remains valid. The best concealment isn't hiding something. It's integrating something into plain sight so thoroughly that searchers don't recognize it as concealment. Santos understood this intuitively. She wasn't trained in intelligence tradecraft. She was basket weaver who saw a problem and applied her skill to solve it. The solution worked because it didn't look like solution. It looked like basket. The Japanese were looking for hidden documents. Santos gave them visible documents, woven into basket structure. The documents were right there, in plain sight, integrated so completely that hidden wasn't the right word. Incorporated was better word. The documents became part of the basket. Remove them and the basket fell apart. That's genius-level tradecraft. Developed by market vendor with no formal education. Developed because standard intelligence methods were failing. Developed because she knew how to weave baskets and she thought, maybe baskets can carry secrets. They could. They did. For 10 months. 131 successful courier runs. 0 interceptions. 100% success rate. MacArthur's G2 section credited enhanced dead drop protocols. The actual answer was a 33-year-old woman who learned basket weaving from her grandmother. The official history says one civilian operative. Doesn't say Maria Santos. Doesn't say master basket weaver. Doesn't say the person who outsmarted both Japanese counterintelligence and American military intelligence by doing something so simple it looked impossible. Weave documents into baskets, carry vegetables to market, pass through checkpoints, deliver intelligence, repeat 131 times, never get caught. That's the story. That's what she did. The official history gives her one paragraph. The Philippine government gave her a medal. Captain Hayes tried to get her recognized properly. The Army filed his report and did nothing. Maria Santos spent 10 months carrying secrets in plain sight. She saved lives. She helped liberate Manila. She did it with bamboo and paper and centuries-old weaving techniques passed down through generations of women. The technique is in the intelligence history books now. One paragraph, page 183. One civilian operative. No name. No recognition of what it took to develop that technique. No recognition of the skill required to execute it 131 times without error. Just one paragraph. One civilian operative. Basket courier system. Effective against Japanese checkpoint searches. That's all she gets in the official history. That's more than most. Most people who do extraordinary things in wartime get nothing in the histories. They're not officers. They're not soldiers. They're just civilians who saw problems and solved them. Maria Santos saw a problem, solved it with baskets. The solution worked. The historians gave her one paragraph. The medal said critical support. Captain Hayes knew the truth. Santos knew the truth. The baskets knew the truth. The rest is just official history, written by people who think enhanced dead drop protocols sound more professional than woman-weave documents into baskets. But weaving documents into baskets is exactly what saved those intelligence operations. Exactly what defeated Japanese counterintelligence. Exactly what helped liberate Manila. One paragraph. Page 183. That's Maria Santos in the official record. Basket weaver. Resistance fighter. The woman who fooled the Japanese army 131 times and outsmarted MacArthur's G2 section by knowing something they didn't know. Baskets can hide more than vegetables.